Podcast City Network.
Listener discretion is advised.
You're listening to the Everett Late Show.
Do I have everybody's attention now?
Woo! Slammin' Thursday edition.
All Elite Wrestling Dynamite!
We are NXT.
With Everett Lee and the Chris Rose.
Let's do this.
Yeah, that's right, baby. As my co-host would say, the Chris Rose. Welcome to another exciting edition of Slammin' Thursday of the Everett Lee Show with the Everett Lee and my co-host, the Chris Rose. How's it hanging, Chris?
Hey, man, it's going pretty good. I'm doing this podcast alcohol-free tonight, and that's the first time it's ever happened. I'm drinking good old Mountain Dew during this one, and, man, I'm happy to be here. It's a good day to be alive. It's a good Thursday with you, Everett Lee.
Oh, yes. It's always a good day when you're with Everett Lee, man. I mean, too bad we don't have any of...
Drinking a little bit of the bubbly
tonight, though, but you know what? That's not going to be a problem because I know you got a head cold. I got a head cold, and I pretty much feel like the last few days trying to fight this damn head cold I've been having. And then today, my daughter, I had to leave work early to go pick her up because she's sick. She's still sick, and it was just a mess today, though. But I got a little bit of rest. She got some rest. So we're pretty much fine right now at the moment. But other than that, man, it's been a pretty mellow day. How's your day? Pretty mellow too?
Yeah, it was just crazy all the way around. My day, it was crazy all the way around. And yeah, I haven't been feeling the best all this week. Man, it's been crazy. Sore throat and everything. It's been crazy week. Crazy. And I got a big weekend ahead. So I need to take my medicine like I have been, trying just to get by. That's all I can do. I got a busy weekend and I can't lay down and let it walk over me. I'm gonna grab it by the throat, choke it out, get it over with.
You know what would help me? If I unmute my mic every once in a while. What I said when I had my mic muted, I said that's the best way to do it, man. Just grab a hold of the situation and go with it, and don't let it get the best of you, because that's what you got to do. That's definitely what you got to do. And like the show tonight.
You gotta keep on keeping on, like Joe Dirt says.
Yeah, you do.
Keep on keeping on.
You do. You don't want to feel like you...
It looks like I got attacked by gonorrhea!
Because it's not great, you know? It's not great being sick, man. It's not. But, yeah, you got a busy week ahead of you. I got a busy week ahead of me, and a lot of stuff happening, especially tonight. I want to give a shout out to Deathmatch Wrestle Podcast, David C. Russell, host of Deathmatch Wrestle Podcast, which you can find on Podcast City Network. He just came back last night with a new episode for 2020, and I think he did one tonight. I believe so. And also tonight, doing their 200th episode. The Super Radio Brothers, part of the Podcast City Network, one of our veteran shows on the network. Congratulations to Rich, Mark, and Ben for hitting that 200th episode milestone. I'm going to have to go back and watch that when I get time. But you know what time it is, right, Chris?
Oh, I know what time it is.
Yeah. It's not Vader time.
Yeah, Monday Night Raw, the
Yeah.
best television show on the USA. Yeah, I didn't mean that. It sucked. Yeah, it sucked.
It did. It was just one big, it's just. It sucked. It sucked. Portions of the show sucked. I mean, the show. Go ahead.
Hey, can I start off
Yeah, go ahead.
with this one?
Go for it, man. Floor is all yours.
Into as I watched the Lesnar's pop. Lesnar got big pop coming out. Him and Paul Heyman both. It came out getting really good heat. Really good heat. And the whole time I was hearing, Paul Heyman talk, doing the same old thing. And they was talking about the Royal Rumble. Whole time I was like, man, McIntyre's music needs to hit. McIntyre's been in all these squash matches.
Right.
Trying to make, last week he beat 2 men. And it just made sense for McIntyre to come out there. But instead, Brock Lesnar enters the Royal Rumble at number 1, and his title isn't even on the line. That's already telling you he's probably going to win the Rumble, or I don't know. To me, that's what it told me. So why is he not defending that? That would make it so much more sense since he's the champion. We saw this in 2016.
Yes.
When Triple H won the championship.
Right.
I mean, why not have Brock Lesnar do that?
Exactly.
I mean, it's just the stuff they do, I swear. I don't know how they're on TV. I mean, it's just crazy. Crazy.
I know.
Crazy. Now it's just so. And what I wrote in my notes is Brock will defend his title in the Rumble. And then, I thought that's what they was meaning, because that would be the logical thing. But then it turns out he's just entering the Rumble.
Yeah.
No championship on the line. I was like, hey.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know how they're going to do that. But
It's nuts. It's nuts.
That's what they want. But, I mean, I don't know. I don't get it, man.
I don't either. I don't either, because from what Paul Heyman said, there's no one worthy on the Raw brand, SmackDown brand, or even in NXT that's a worthy opponent to challenge and to face Brock Lesnar. I actually can think of 2 opponents that could face Brock Lesnar. We talked about one of them last week, and actually we talked about both of them last week, because the more you talked about Drew McIntyre last week, Chris, the more through the week it sat on me. It sat on me through the week. And then when I watched Monday Night Raw, and when Drew cut his promo, more of a face promo, because I have that feeling that Drew is going to be the worthy opponent because what he's doing. And it makes much more sense now that Drew's going to be the much more worthy opponent to upset Lesnar in the Rumble by eliminating him. And then him winning, he's going to have that shot against Brock Lesnar. Or Lesnar wins it, but the altercation he has on the ring with say Drew McIntyre, then there's your WWE Championship match. It's going to Brock Lesnar versus Drew McIntyre. And I do not hope that at number 30 they bring someone out like Cain Velasquez or Tyson Fury, and he goes in there and he wins. Please, I hope not. Or
I don't think they would do that. I mean, with Raw always going, it wouldn't surprise me with their logic sometimes. But I think that, McIntyre has a good chance of winning the Rumble. I'd love to see him win the Rumble. That's my pick. And then it's been my pick for a while. Drew McIntyre wins the Rumble.
Yes.
Yeah, I hope he does face Brock at WrestleMania. That would make total sense, and I think the fans would love to see it.
I would love to see it now because it's starting to make much more sense. Because I set off earlier, my pick was going to be Kevin Owens. However, Kevin Owens right now, him and Samoa Joe are in that feud storyline right now with Seth Rollins and AOP right now. So he's busy with that right now. Him running after a title, that's out of the question right now. I'm leaning more towards Drew McIntyre now winning that. Drew McIntyre winning or doing some altercation where for WrestleMania 36 we have Lesnar versus McIntyre for the WWE Championship. Or something has been going around. I hit the interwebs today, Chris, and looking at some rumors that may have caught my attention. And one rumor is that possibly Roman Reigns winning and facing whoever wins the Universal Championship at the Royal Rumble, Wyatt or Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, I could see that too. I could see a Bray Wyatt versus Roman Reigns match at WrestleMania. And I would be fine with that. But Roman Reigns can face The Fiend without the Royal Rumble.
Yes.
They have, is the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view after this, or did they already do that?
It's right before WrestleMania. They do Elimination Chamber right before WrestleMania.
Yeah, and then Roman Reigns could win one of those. That would be just as better. I think McIntyre needs to win the Rumble, like me and you was saying. But yeah, Roman Reigns. Yeah, I mean Roman Reigns has been there many times, and they'd do it again with him.
Yeah,
I could totally see Roman Reigns winning the Rumble. Yeah, definitely. I mean, and I would be fine with it. But I would love to see McIntyre win. But
yeah,
I could see Roman Reigns as well. I definitely could see that.
Yeah, they've kept him out of the title picture since he lost the Universal Championship after battling leukemia and coming back from that sickness and from the cancer. And they've not put a title or had him chase after a title all this time. He's been in a feud with King Corbin, Baron Corbin, whatever you want to call him. But now he's past that now. And now where is he going to go now? He's going to go after that championship. And the Royal Rumble would be the perfect place for him to start that. But I'm with you. Drew McIntyre winning the Royal Rumble, facing Brock Lesnar in Tampa in April at WrestleMania 36 for the WWE Championship. And that's my pick. I'm right there with you with that, right there. That him winning the Royal Rumble. But yeah, I was discombobulated about that announcement right there from Brock Lesnar. But you got to say one thing: Heyman still can cut one hell of a good promo for his client. Could he not?
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, Paul Heyman is spot on out there. He does everything, well for Lesnar. That package is good. It's been there for years now.
It has.
It's 2012.
Right.
When Lesnar came back, they've been together, and it's worked.
It has. It has worked. And one of the things is they got a good chemistry together, good relationship, and as shows. They've butt heads here and there a little bit on camera, but other than that, their relationship is pretty damn solid, with him being Lesnar's advocate. After that, we seen Andrade put up the United States Championship in a rematch against Rey Mysterio. Then Andrade won at a house show. And this right here, there were some really good spots in this match, was there not? Pretty good.
Man. Great match. Really enjoyed it. Very fast-paced opener. I think this is the best match they've had up to this point together.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was awesome. The crowd was really, really hot for it. These guys have always had good chemistry to me.
Yeah.
Everything they did in the match was great. Really good.
Mm-hmm. It was great. I enjoyed that match. The drawback I did not like was how the match finished. That just seemed a little bit off to me, but the finish of the match. But other than that, I loved how Zelina Vega interfered and threw Andrade's foot up, and Ray thought he won. They restarted the match. They went at it again, and then Andrade kind of pushed Ray off onto Zelina, and Ray was more concerned about Zelina's well-being than what Andrade did. Andrade wanted to retain that championship. For a while there, they've been talking about splitting these two up because for the fact behind the scenes, Charlotte Flair is not a fan of her being with her man. And she would rather see him not with her, but it wouldn't be the same because they have no relationship outside of what they do because she's married to Aleister Black. And they had that relationship, business relationship, before Black, or maybe when Black did come to NXT. Who knows? But other than that, they may elaborate more next week on that. I don't know. But I enjoyed that match right there. I got to talk about the bad Lashley and Lana thing. Oh my God, I'm wanting this to be done with, man, so bad.
We say it every week.
Yes.
I can't wait. One day I'm gonna go back at our notes when this started and just look at the shit we wrote down because, I mean, my goodness, repetitive. I wrote repetitive on my notes. They say the same thing each week.
Yeah.
It's the same old thing, and yes, I'm waiting for this to end.
Yeah.
Man, it's hard to watch, man. I mean, we say it every week.
Yeah.
Same old thing.
Yeah.
And
it's hard to watch.
Gosh.
It is. It's cringy. It's cringy. And the pastor. Did you see what happened before they did that segment when they got Lana and Lashley in the ring? The pastor, when AJ Styles is leaving the ring after the thing with. Did you happen to see that? The priest, I guess, was running into the pastor was running into the. I'm saying priest, but the pastor was running right into the ring, and I guess security thought it was a fan, so the security started beating him down. And then when they came back, when they came back on TV, he was standing there in the ring, and it's like, I started laughing, and my wife's like, "What are you laughing about?" I said, "He's the guy who got beat up." I said, "They beat up the pastor. They thought he was a fan."
Come on, I mean, why? He's just so weird, man. They're so weird now.
They are.
I didn't even know that happened. But I'm sure if I look it up, it'd be true. And coming from you, I believe you. Yeah. I didn't hear that, but that's insane. Man, I can't wait to look that up later.
Yeah, you go back and look at it. You get the videos and stuff because when they cut to a commercial, because the commentary was talking, and they just kind of stopped when that happened because the guy was getting beat up. Because security thought he was a fan, and then apparently from what people said there while attending the Monday Night Raw, They said, "What security's beating up the pastor?" The lady had to run out with the Bible and said, "Hold on, no, he's part of the show." Security was like, "Oh, no one told security this guy's gonna be running in like he was late or something." And they started beating him down. They were holding him, and then when he got back, he's sitting there just. Oh, I was about to lose my shit, man. I was like, this is just hilarious. I was like, wow. It's like no one gave them the memo about this guy coming in there doing a segment with two of the talent. But other than that,
Man, crazy.
Yeah, crazy. Let's have Rusev get his hands on Lashley and just end this thing and be over with. That's what I want.
The match is on Raw Monday, right?
Yes.
Lashley and stuff, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, hopefully they let's move on and try to build these guys back up again because the storyline has really hurt them. I mean, Rusev is doing pretty good. I mean, the fans like him and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, Lashley and Lana can't play this off very well. I mean, there's been weddings in WWE before that's worked very well.
Yep.
The one Eric Bischoff dressed up as the pastor with Billy Gunn and Chuck Palumbo, was it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Billy and Chuck. That turned out well.
Yeah, that was a good one. They did that one very well.
Yeah.
And they've done a lot of them pretty good. But man, this angle, no one. I mean, you can't do these type of angles anymore because of social media. They all know it's bullshit now.
They do.
And it just don't work anymore.
No. It don't.
Angles work. Everybody knows Lana and Rusev together in real life.
Yep.
This is why this stuff does not work. I mean,
it don't work. Kayfabe's gone. The kayfabe is gone, man. When you throw the kayfabe out the window, if it's just that's it. That's it. You imagine social media back in the day, that things would be much different. Even like if there was no social media, things would be different. So it's a give or take situation. Yeah, it definitely would be.
Changed a lot. It's changed not just wrestling. It's changed a lot of other entertainment and sports. I mean, it's just a lot of it's different now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it is, man. It's how it is.
It is. It is. Now, I mentioned earlier Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe have teamed up to take out and take on the problem with Seth Rollins and AOP. And they had a mystery partner that was going to show up. Who is that mystery partner? I was guessing because my wife was, because I did have to go back and watch it on DVR to find out who. Because I said Drew McIntyre. No, Drew was out there, announced he was going to be in a Royal Rumble. Then I thought Eric Rowan, but no, Eric Rowan came out and did a squash match. Then I thought to myself, I was like, who could it be? And all of a sudden, making his return, he's been gone for a while, and I've been wondering there for a while if he was going to come back or show back up on TV in some shape or form, and it was the Big Show. I was glad to see him. I was glad to see Big Show back.
Yeah. Having a Big Show, appear on Monday Night Raw is all good for the people. It's good for the talent. Have a veteran like him in there because he's a trooper. He's a Hall of Famer someday in the WWE. And having him come back and be the third man was a good pop. They need it for the ratings. And it was really good to see him back in the ring. And he looks great. A lot of giants like him don't last very long, but he stuck right in there, and he's still performing to this day, and I love it.
I do too. I was glad to see him back. He looks in good shape, man. Big Show looks phenomenal. He does. He's still big guy, but he's still the Big Show.
Yeah, he's still good, man. I really enjoy seeing him out there with those guys, Kevin Owens and Joe. That makes a good little trio, just big, tough guys who want to fight. And hopefully we get to see Big Show a lot more with them too. Hopefully this was just not a one-off. Hopefully we see them back together again. I like the pairing.
Yeah, I definitely like to see him back, doing some more appearances or doing something in that caliber of him coming back and doing some kind of more appearances, in between segments, in between matches, having some squash matches, or just having him back in the ring. That's all. Just not build him up and then squash him, and then build him up and squash him. Yeah. I'd like to see that. But I was disappointed in Monday Night Raw as much as you were this week again. So another.
What we talked about is all really good. We talked about some bad stuff with the Lashley and Lana wedding, but other than that, other stuff was okay. It's more of the same old repetitive stuff. And all caps on my notes, repetitive. That's what Monday Night Raw was to me.
Repetitive. Of course, repetitive. It is. I mean, why would it not be? Why would it not be repetitive? But
the ending, everything else was.
Yep.
Big Show coming back. Everything else was, booking Lesnar and terrible shit. We've seen it in the past.
Mm-hmm.
They stand and put the ship on the line, or just have someone come out and challenge them to have a match at the Royal Rumble for a one-on-one match. But no, they got to do this. I guess they're just trying to change it up, but it just don't make no sense with the champion being in the Rumble. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens next week on Raw, and talk about this stuff again.
Yep. As always, we will talk about the bad and the good, bad, and ugly at Monday Night Raw. That's basically what we'll be talking about and discussing, as we always do each and every Thursday, right here on the Slammin' Thursday edition of the Everett Lee Show with Everett Lee and the Chris Rose. Where would you like? Actually, you know what? Let me mention a couple things real quick. Did you hear about Kevin Nash announcing he is officially retired from wrestling this week? Did you hear about that?
Yeah, man, it's not a big surprise because, man, he's had so many injuries. So many injuries throughout his career, and he's getting up into that age where he's a big guy, and it's hard for those guys to stay healthy as big as he is.
Yes.
Man, I'm glad he's hanging it up. It's good for his health now because of his injuries. Did you see the Instagram picture of him?
Oh,
of
yeah.
his leg?
Yeah.
It looked like terrible, man. I'm surprised he wrestled after that. I mean, I'm glad that he's hanging it up and get his health back and just be happy. And,
I am too.
I've always been a fan. I've always been a fan of Kevin Nash, and wish him the best of luck.
I do too. He lives. He lives around the area around here, around my neck of the woods here in Florida. My brothers and my sister-in-law, they've seen him out and about, and I've not seen him once. My one brother's seen him like 2 or 3 times, and every time he's run into him, he was like, "Hey, how you doing? What's up?" He's like, "Pretty good." He's like, "All right, man, yeah, awesome," and just he keeps it short and simple. That's just how my brother is, and he just, kept the conversation short and simple with him, and he was like, "All right, man, take it easy," and he's like, "All right." And my nephew's run into him before in town and stuff, though, but I'm glad that he's like, you know what, 29 years, I've done this, and I'm done with it, and I'm in the best physical shape now with everything that's going on with me. And yeah, I do wish him the best. And he's doing movies. He's doing roles in movies, which would make sense, man. Would just make sense. But yeah, he hung it up today. I mean, not today, but he hung it up, and he's gonna enjoy the rest of his life and whatever he does. And I'm happy. I'm happy that he's good. He is good. Talking about the Royal Rumble earlier, there was reports coming out about surprise entries in the Royal Rumble. Apparently, Edge has been backstage at the TV tapings for Monday Night Raw or SmackDown, I believe. He's been backstage. They're talking about possibly him showing up in the Royal Rumble this year. Possibly on the women's side, Nia Jax coming back after having double knee surgery last year, and she's had to schedule her making an appearance in the women's Royal Rumble. Ronda Rousey showing up, and then there is some crazy off the wall thing about Paige. And then, of course, CM Punk and AJ Lee. Of course, those are all rumors, man. I mean, I don't know what to believe.
I don't see CM Punk coming back right now, at least. He has to get back in ring shape. I guarantee you he hasn't been in a wrestling ring since he left. I guarantee you that.
No, he hasn't.
Even know it. I just know in my gut that I bet he has. I mean, he has to be back in a wrestling ring trained to be doing it at a high level again. He's been away a while, about 6 years. So he's gonna have to get back in there and train before he does anything. If he ever does come back, they should do a year-long build like when The Rock came back and faced Cena. They need to do a year-long build with him and Rollins to the next WrestleMania. It'll get Rollins over. It'll get CM Punk over as he already is. It'll help Rollins. They should do that. Build it for a year.
They
did with Rock and Cena.
Yeah, they definitely could. They definitely could do that with CM Punk, though. But I know Daniel Bryan was wanting to at least face him once in at WrestleMania. Wouldn't this be a twist here? Check this out. This is a dream scenario. Okay, Daniel Bryan beats Bray Wyatt and becomes Universal Champion. CM Punk shows up as a surprise entry in the Royal Rumble, and CM Punk wins the Royal Rumble, and he goes on to face Daniel Bryan in the main event at WrestleMania for the Universal Championship.
If Punk's ready to come back and that happens, I'm all for it. These guys have had, excuse me, these guys have had classic matches in the past. Daniel Bryan and Punk, they've been in the ring before together. They would have a great match.
Yeah, they definitely would have a great match together. I mean, they're not strangers with each other. They've faced each other plenty of times before. I mean, Money in the Bank 2012 when AJ Lee was the special guest referee, that match right there with Daniel Bryan, the world's toughest vegan, going up against the voice of the voiceless, CM Punk. There's one I can think off the top of my head though, but they've wrestled each other before on and off in the indies, so they're familiar with each other, and they could put on a 5-star match.
Yes. Oh. Mm-hmm. Without a doubt, these guys put on a great match, great show, and it'd be a good night for all the fans. Because that'd be a good one. That would be a good one.
Yeah, that definitely would be a good one there. AEW NXT. All right, this week. All right, Chris, where do you want to start at?
Oh, man. So we're going to talk about NXT first?
We can talk about NXT first, or you want to talk about AEW? We can talk about whatever, which one you want to start, because both shows.
I guess we could start with AEW. That'd be fine.
Okay, definitely. The ratings came out, and AEW basically beat NXT Wednesday with the ratings. They beat NXT, and like you and me talked about right before we went live and started the program tonight, off camera, off recording, off the record, we both agreed AEW had the more of the little bit more something, the more to the show this week, and it felt like it. I felt it. NXT had a great show, but AEW had that extra. And as we talk about AEW, I can point out that extra I thought AEW had this week. Opening match, we had Adam Page, Kenny Omega going up against Private Party. Again, Chris, Private Party does not disappoint me. Am I true?
No, you're 100% correct. Great opener. But my notes filled up one page in my notebook from this match. Good, a little bit of bad. But I will start first with this one, Everett Lee.
Go for it.
The mics, I will go with a little bit of the bad first, but the mics on the commentary seem to be bad a lot for TNT, for AEW. The mics. Mm-hmm. The commentary match is a little off, and that's happened in the past with them. And you would think they would, fix that by now.
Right.
And the dude on Private Party shouts every time he gets chopped, and I was like, dude, quit. I get he's trying to sell, but it's weird.
Yeah.
And I think they should have ended the match one or two times. I think it went on a little too long. But overall, really, really good match. I mean, both teams meshed well together.
Yes.
Adam Page and Kenny Omega do very well as a tag team. Private Party is the best tag team in AEW right now. One bad thing is that Private Party did the finisher on Kenny Omega, and the match didn't end, and that kind of hurt Private Party's finish, I think. Because no one ever kicked out of it until that point. Hopefully it doesn't. In my eyes, it would. But, really, really good match. Went a little too long for me, in my opinion, watching it, because I thought the crowd, was getting a little exhausted by the end. But overall, man, I really, really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it.
I did too. It looks like they're teasing not Moxley, excuse me. It looks like they're teasing Page and Omega in some kind of a little split up, because they're a team right now, and it looks like they're gonna kind of put some attention between these guys to see what happens. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, I'd like to see Kenny Omega be a heel against Adam Page, and have Kenny Omega kind of go back to that old New Japan character that made him a bit the biggest star in the business.
Yeah.
The cleaner. He obviously can't use the cleaner, but he can go back to the character and just have it, just be Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
But,
I agree.
Yeah.
Or he could use something else, another name.
Be a heel and come out with the barbed wire broom he used in the Moxley feud, and have that in his entrance. Carry it out with him. Have the old leather jacket that he used to wear, the shades, and the unique hairstyle. I mean, that's what made me like this guy when he was facing Okada as the Bullet Club heel. Have him go back to that guy, and not the goofy acting dude we got right now. I like Kenny Omega. He's one of my favorite wrestlers in AEW, but he is a little goofy at times.
He can.
He needs to go back to that. Yeah, he gets a little goofy at times. It's a little over the top, but I do respect him in the ring. His striking is lethal. His kicks, his knee strikes, everything is great that he does.
Yes.
I like to see him as that. He's Adam Page. But right now, let them team for a little bit. They're doing really good right now, and let it build and build and build, and let the fans wait for it.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I agree with you right there. Let them just build this team up, man. You could they could possibly go after the AEW, tag team, titles. They could do that if they keep these two together. I think it's a little bit too soon to put these guys together and then break them up.
They could have a tournament, and the winner of the tournament can go for the championships. Omega and Page could screw one another by accident and not win the championships after winning the tournament, and then they could do the turn right there.
Yeah.
But, I don't know if they're going to tournament or not. I was just, armchair quarterback booking here, like we always do on the show.
Yeah.
Have a tournament, have Omega and Page losing the championship, and they could turn on each other. That could probably happen in the future. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
That's enough for them to turn on each other, scraping, scratching, and clawing their way to the finals, and then having to lose. And they're setting up, something between these guys. Back to what I was saying, one of the finishes when Omega and Page collided with each other, and Quinn should have rolled them up right there. Do you remember seeing that? He was going for the clothesline or the buckshot lariat, and they collided.
Yeah.
And I think that could have been the end right there. They somehow collided, and it wasn't, Page's fault. He got pushed into him, and then Quinn rolled him up 1, 2, 3.
Mm-hmm.
That gets that's a good face pop for them, and it makes the fans wonder if they're going to turn on each other.
Exactly. Exactly.
I thought that right there could have been a good ending for them, but AEW is different. AEW is different. They're not the traditional wrestling style. They're against the grain. They do stuff totally different. I think a different way, but their way is good. It worked. They beat NXT. So, I just throw my 2 cents in, and I think that should have been the ending. But I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed the match.
I did too. Great opening match. Great opening match. Start out the night with right there. I think that match right there caught a lot of eyes when people flip through the channel or they want to see what was going on with AEW, and you get to see this match. Great opening match to start it off, man. Start it off fast pace, have those false finishes, have the crowd in, wrap them right in at the beginning, and don't let go of them until the end of the show, which AEW did with a lot of the stuff that happened. Chris Statlander went up against Rio, the AEW Women's Champion. Now, I don't understand how this person, they tied Chris into having a match with this. And again, like you pointed out before, Rio is being the AEW Women's Champion. I feel that it's time to take the belt off of her and put it on someone else, because she's good, but there's mistakes here and there I see quite a bit from her.
Yeah, there's a lot of bad right now in the women's division in AEW.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of bad. And some of it was looking pretty good, actually. I actually liked how they was doing this up to this point, and I'll get to it in just a minute. I think the Chris Statlander chick looked great against Rio, and I think that she should have won this match. I think she could be a pretty good champion.
I agree.
Yeah, and she can do she pulled out all the stops against this little Rio, And I thought Chris should have won the match. Like, she was dominating her at the end, and she kicked out of everything. And I was just like, man. And you know, for some reason, when they went to the crowd and they showed Britt Baker, I looked at her and I'm like, man, if this girl just had a little bit more training and just, you know, got more polished, she has the look to be a star.
Yeah.
But there's just some stuff that she just needs to work on. And Kuru Kushida, I like her. I think she's pretty good.
She
But
is.
A lot of the women have personality and anything to do anything, you know, star-wise, like a Ronda Rousey or a Charlotte or a Becky Lynch. None of them are at that level in AEW.
No,
They're not at that level.
not yet.
Stars are. But I thought the match went pretty good. Chris, I thought, should have won.
Yeah,
Man, and then at the end, they had this death match guy come out, and I did not know who he was at all. They seem to do that a lot. And I really wasn't impressed with him at all. I don't even know who he is at all. But, I mean, I'm not a deathmatch guy. But, I mean, the women's division is just going to have to get better.
It's going to.
Because women's wrestling is really good right now, and that's what a lot of people tune into to watch is the women because of what they can do athletically and storytelling wise. But they're just not doing it very well in AEW, in my opinion.
They're not yet. They again, like we talked about before, they have a strong tag team division. Tag team wrestling is in AEW, and we've seen that week after week here in the last few months because that's proof right there. But yeah, I definitely agree right there. Quick shout out to David C. Russell in the chat. Hello, Everett Lee and the Chris Rose. Hello, David C. Russell, a Deathmatch Russell podcast. Next match, we had Christopher Daniels going up against Sammy Guevara. Now, Christopher Daniels, really good singles competitor. I like what he can do in the ring. He can move for being a veteran, can he not? He can. He can definitely move with what he does. I mean, going up someone like Sammy Guevara, they had some close moments there with some finish with some close pinfalls, but Sammy ended up winning the match there and beating Christopher Daniels. What happened afterwards? Our favorite group decided to come out and try to recruit Christopher Daniels in joining the Dark Order. Real quick. Yeah, before I mention that, let me get this out here. David says, speaking of AEW, when you get to the AEW talk, please mention David got to see Skylar Moore this past Saturday versus Tessa Blanchard. Awesome. There's a delay in the stream there, but awesome, David. But your thoughts, Chris, on the match afterwards?
Yeah, Sammy G did a nice middle rope foot stomp on Daniels. I really liked it. Daniels looked good in the opener. A good heel, good face match. Sammy G gets really, really good heat. Man, really good match. These guys meshed well together. I loved it. But, man, at the end, fucking Dark Order had to come out and ruin it.
I know.
I
know. It's
I
like
can hear it in Ross's voice when their entrance music hit. He was like, "Oh Jesus!" Just like, I don't even think he likes it. But man,
yeah, it was bad. it was bad. It was bad. I mean, just Dark Order out there. But I liked what happened afterwards. I like what happened afterwards because Scorpio Sky and Frankie Kazarian came out, and then the Young Bucks came out. Both these teams has a problem with Dark Order, and I liked how they basically went to town on whatever his name is. I forget his name now, but they went to town on him, and it was pretty good seeing both these teams, share a common enemy in the Dark Order. So that looks like they're going to be building more on that in the weeks and the months to come. We'll just have to see. We'll just have to see there. But yeah, I mean, just I don't know, man. I don't know. I was hyped about this tag team match, this next one here. Oh yeah, the Lucha Bros. Not Phoenix, but Pentagon came out and he caused a distraction for Christopher Daniels for Sammy to win. But the Lucha Bros came out and they went up against the Rhodes brothers, Cody and Dustin Rhodes, with the Enforcer, Double A, Arn Anderson by the brothers' side right there. And
yeah, but remember last week when I said he was acting like a head coach?
Mm-hmm.
Like the Chiefs head, they called him the head coach, Arn Anderson, this week.
Yep.
There you go.
They did, like a head coach. Yeah, they did. Someone must be listening. I love it. Someone's listening to us. That's great. That's great. I love it. Now,
Someone has to be somewhere because I called that shit.
Yeah, you did. You did call it.
He did remind me of a coach, and his after the match, the post promo was coach like. That's how good Arn is with promos. He's been able to adapt to anything he's ever done.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, really, he was the Enforcer, and he used to cut great promos in the Horsemen, and he cut a great promo for Cody.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, much like a coach doing a post game conference.
Yeah,
and I really enjoyed it. The match as well. I really enjoyed the match. Cody selling as a baby, great. When Cody fires up and did the 10 punches, you really don't hear the crowd count along with that, but they believed in Cody. And they counted with it, and that reminds me of good old school wrestling mixed in with the new school. This match was really good. I really enjoyed it. It's probably the best Lucha Bros match they've had up to this point.
Yeah.
In AEW.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was. I really liked it.
Yeah, it was great. This match was there, especially the opening. Man, I like how both brothers did their little signature moves right there. And just I loved off the rope, the almost looked like a diamond cutter coming off the ropes there when Cody was flying in the air and stuff. A lot of high flying spots here and there coming off the ropes. I mean, damn, Cody and Dustin use the ropes to their advantage when they have matches, man, when they're up against anybody. Especially with Dustin's like quick, scoop power slam right there. I love that. That's just like boom. It's like done. Cody coming off the ropes, him using crossroads, and just it was just great. Yeah, and Arn cutting that promo. It was one of my favorite matches of the night. It was my favorite one. And then everything was pretty awesome until Mr. MJF showed up. He came out there, and of course MJF comes out with Lord, whatever the heck. What the heck is this guy's name? Lord I can't even talk tonight with this damn cold, head cold.
Yeah,
Wardlow comes out and being silent and not doing or saying much. And MJF basically cutting a really good promo and calling Cody a bitch. And then all of a sudden, DDP Diamond Dallas Page comes out and he cut a great, good opening promo. And I liked how he called MJF Mr. Jackoff Freeman. One thing I missed from Diamond Dallas Page, I was hoping he'd come out there and be like, hey, yo, like he used to say, he's like, yo, monkey. Remember he used to say that, hey, monkey. I missed that. He didn't say that, though, but it was great seeing him out there, and he cut that promo on MJF. MJF cut back the promo on him.
Yeah, really good. As a kid, I used to have this thing in kindergarten where I said, I'm going to grow up and be Diamond Dallas Page. I mean, he caught my eye as a child. My mom has that stash somewhere. Yeah, man, I was a big fan of DDP growing up. He was one of my favorite wrestlers on Nitro.
Yeah.
And see him back, going at it with MJF was pretty great. Seeing DDP Diamond Cutter, Butcher and the Blade was great. I mean, it was set up for a Bash at the Beach showdown, six-man tag.
Yes.
And, yeah, I'm ready for that. I'm ready for that action. I'm ready for the match. I'm ready to see
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to see it, man. I'm ready to see Diamond Dallas Page. I haven't seen him in the ring. The last time I think I seen Diamond Dallas Page wrestle was the 2016 Royal Rumble. Remember, he showed up and he gave everyone Diamond Cutter.
Yeah, I believe that was 2015.
Was it 2015?
But yeah, it was the one where Daniel Bryan got eliminated and everybody booed the bill.
Oh, yeah. That's the one. Okay.
Roman Reigns with the Rock's help and all that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's the one.
Rumble.
Okay, that's the one there. But it was a great segment to set up the Bash at the Beach, which I think it was great. Looking forward definitely to see that. Now this next match, Jurassic Express versus Best Friends and Orange Cassidy. Oh man, I'm going to say I only watched half this match up until a certain part because I'm not too big of a fan of one of the guys. But I'll let you start this off, Chris.
Yeah, I mean it was an okay, it was okay stuff. I mean, it was a huge. I mean, Orange Cassidy was he gets a big pop for everything he does in the match. I've kind of warmed up to Orange Cassidy at first when I heard about him. I really didn't, like it all that much, but I'm warming up to the Orange Cassidy guy and Best Friends as a whole. Jungle Boy got his first pinfall in AEW, and that's big for him. Jungle Boy Jack Perry.
Yes.
I mean, pretty good stuff. I like the Jurassic Express. I think they're a pretty good team with Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. I think those guys are great. Yeah, I mean, it was a decent match. Good to see Jungle Boy get the pinfall.
Oh yeah, I was happy. I like him and Luchasaurus. Marco Stunt, I'm getting a little bit used to now. I mean, I'm just getting a little bit used to Marco Stunt in the ring and stuff. But Best Friends and Orange Cassidy. When Orange Cassidy, when he got in the ring, he did his thing with the kicks and stuff. The Luchasaurus. I started laughing. The Luchasaurus grabbed a hold of his throat and slammed him. I was like, yeah, that was great. I like that. But what got me was I'm watching this, and when Orange Cassidy came off the ropes and he flew through the middle of the ropes with his hands in his pocket, I I got up and I said, I can't watch the rest of this. I walked out of the room. Or I flipped over to see what was going on in NXT at the time. And I didn't get to finish the match. But I did go back and watch the replay of it and see Jungle Boy get the pinfall. But I'm not too big of a fan. Maybe it's going to take some time for the gimmick to grow on me. I know people love it, and that's great, but I'm not really feeling it right now with him. But it's going to be funny because months now, I'll probably be all over Orange Cassidy, like, yeah, and then I look back at this and I'm like, yeah, I remember how I felt but it's going to take some time, man. It does. Like Marco Stunt is taking a little bit because I guess the Jurassic Express, the way they look and they're packaged and stuff, it's just, I don't know. They seem odd, but it works. You know what I mean? You take three odd people and put them together, and it works. They make it work, right? Does that make sense?
It does, yeah. You're right. And Marco Stunt is kind of growing on me, but I don't think he should be wrestling. I think he should be the mascot for the team. I think he's good in that role.
Yeah.
Not wrestling, though, because it's insulting, and a guy that small should not be able to perk or run on a guy that looks like one of the guys from SCU, Scorpio Sky.
Mm-hmm.
That's an example. It's not believable. But him as a mascot will be fine.
Okay. Definitely. I agree with you right there with that right there. I definitely agree with you. All in all, it was, from what I watched back on the replay, it wasn't a bad match. It wasn't at all. It wasn't a bad match at all. But the moment in truth that everyone's been waiting for, Jon Moxley, is he going to join the Inner Circle or is he not? What's going to happen? Jericho comes out and the ring has, the red carpet, has the some bubbly, got a little bit of bubbly, got everything all set up, and just everything talking about the 4GT to just everything. This is what you're going to get. And John comes out and just John, makes his mind up, man. He makes his mind up that he's in the Inner Circle, and he gives his answer, and he pulls off his jacket. There's the Inner Circle shirt on, and people are booing him, telling him he's sold out, and he's like, I didn't sell out. And he wants to make it in this business. This is what he's going to do, and this is what he did. He joined the Inner Circle. He celebrated with the Inner Circle, drinking a little bit of bubbly. They kicked back and just had just having fun and just
Drinking a little bit of the bubbly.
and just celebrating him joining the Inner Circle. Everyone leaves the ring except Jericho and Moxley. And then Moxley breaks the news to Jericho. He don't care about his little club or his little group and anything it has to offer. And he takes a champagne bottle and he hits him upside the damn head. And reminded me of Jimmy Snuka taking a freaking coconut to the head by Rowdy Piper.
Yeah.
Doused his head with that champagne bottle and gave him a double arm DDT, and that was it. What was going through your mind when he said he joined the Inner Circle, man? What the heck was going through your mind on that?
Well, with the way Moxley has been built up as this anti-against the grain, anti-industry guy, anti-corporate, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Same Moxley character against the grain. And, it kind of reminded me of when Diamond Dallas Page got offered to join the NWO, and he went out to answer, and he said he would. He put it on the shirt, And while Nash wasn't looking, while they were celebrating, he gave the diamond cutter to Scott Hall, and then went into the crowd, ripped the NWO shirt off. That was the first person to ever turn down the NWO, and it was a Diamond Dallas Page. And Moxley turning down the Inner Circle, building it up well. I mean, it got me. I thought he was really going to join, and I really thought he was going to be in the Inner Circle. But then he stopped Jericho, and I love how he did it. He goes, I was just kidding. This whole thing's stupid. Your whole group's stupid. And then busted the bubbly all over his head, and, man, I thought it was a good segment.
It was.
Really, really good. Very well segment. They played it really good.
Yes.
Moxley played it good. I really thought he was going to join, and that's how I like it.
Yeah.
I want them to keep me on my toes. I like wrestling. And, man, really good stuff here. I liked it.
Yeah, it was good. It kept me on my toes too. I like how they dragged it out there for a while, because they didn't do, yeah, I'm gonna join you. All right, yeah, nah, forget it, and it just, flick of the switch. They dragged it out and played it out, and you really did think he joined the Inner Circle, and then at that last minute, you kind of knew something was gonna happen, and you're like, oh, what's he gonna say? What's he gonna do, Jericho? And I just was like, damn, man, when he freaking took that shot to the head with the bottle, it's like, damn, man, that's nuts. But I loved it. Yeah, and it kept me on my seats there. What made AEW beat NXT this week? I'm going to have to say the promos and the story this week. The stories with Cody and MJF, that right there. Moxley and the Jericho and Inner Circle, that right there. Matches, great opening match. Favorite match, Lucha Bros versus Cody and Dustin Rhodes. On 1 to 5, I give this show a 4. Your thoughts and everything. The Chris Rose.
Yeah. 4.5 in between the 4 and 5.
Okay.
Really enjoyed the show. The only really bad part I really saw was the women's stuff. They have to improve. I mean, that's just all I'm going to say about that. But everything else was great. The opening match was my favorite of the night. Kenny Omega, Hangman Adam Page versus Private Party. My second favorite was the Rhodes Brothers versus the Lucha Brothers. Really liked that match as well. And the main event, the segment with Moxley and the Inner Circle, really enjoyed it as well. They started off in 2020 very, very well. And it was a really, really good show.
It was. It definitely was. NXT this week. NXT didn't beat AEW in the ratings, but they had solid, good content this week. I definitely have to say that. I love the opening NXT with the new NXT Women's Champion, Rhea Ripley, coming out there. And then you had Toni Storm come out, and she basically talking about how she's going to be going up against Kaylee Ray and going after the United Kingdom, the WWE UK Women's Championship, the one that she beat Rhea Ripley for, and made her remember that there, a little haha, ooh. And she figures, I'm going to be a double champion. I'm going to win the UK Women's Championship, and I'm going to win the NXT Women's Championship. And then all of a sudden, then you have a locker room. You have Kaylee Ray show up. She was there, the UK Women's Champion. And then you had Bianca Belair come out, Io Shirai, and Candice LeRae. And I loved how Rhea's like, oh, Candice, let me guess, you want the title too? And she's just like, like, yeah, I'm out here. And then all hell breaks loose, and the ref decides to call for a six women tag match. Yeah, Rhea Ripley, Toni Storm, and Candice LeRae versus Kaylee Ray, Bianca Belair, and Io Shirai. A lot of great action with these women going back and forth and stuff. What I liked about this was this right here showcased the NXT UK brand. Having the NXT UK women's champion on there and someone that people are familiar with who follow the UK brand of NXT with Toni Storm out there, and of course Rhea Ripley. But I thought this was great exposure for the UK champion. What do you think about this?
Yeah, the whole segment was really good. Toni Storm coming out, interrupting Rhea Ripley, saying that she's going to be the double champion. I thought these two women was going to, maybe start something going forward. And then you had Kaylee Ray come out, Io Shirai, Bianca Belair, Candice LeRae. Before Candice LeRae could say anything, they started brawling. The match was pretty good. The NXT women's division is knocking the AEW's. They're knocking them on the back.
Yeah.
Every time, each week. NXT women's division is great. I'm ready to see what happens in the near future with it. Out of all the women, I would like to see Toni Storm go up against Rhea Ripley again. They had a match last year or a couple of years ago. I can't remember. But Toni Storm did beat Rhea Ripley, and it was I think it was for the first ever NXT Women's Championship.
Yeah, it was.
It was the very first, and that was a good match, man. Really good, and I like to see these two women work again.
Mm-hmm. It was great. It was great exposure, great matches, great spots, and the crowd loved it. And in the end, you saw the team of Rhea, Toni, and Candice win. They won, and they were the victors. I like how I'm talking about Tommaso Ciampa going after. He wants that NXT championship back. He wants Goldie. And he was going to get Goldie no matter what. And I love how they did the little vignettes and stuff in between with him talking about getting Goldie back because he had to give him up. And what I liked about this episode was that they brought back the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, and they started with 2 matches for the first round of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. You had the Forgotten Sons going up against the WWE NXT UK team of Imperium. The Forgotten Sons, man, I don't know why people don't like this team, but they're good. They're good. Cutler and Blake are good as a tag team. Why the hell do people not like this tag team, the Forgotten Sons?
Well, there's so many to choose from in NXT and NXT UK tag team wise, and man, there's just something missing with the team. But they are good in ring, good technical abilities, good all around stuff. But the Imperium is much more over and much more exposure than the Forgotten Sons, and the Imperium also has Walter with them to make them more stronger as well.
That's
the more
true.
Imperium does good, it builds up their leader, Walter. And that's what they need. Walter is going to be a star. Imperium is a really good tag team, and they're going to be stars as well. And I'm glad to see them advance and possibly win. Hopefully, I wouldn't be mad if they won Imperium. And man, it was a good one.
It was
good match, really good match.
Apparently, Wesley Blake, has a foot injury. Something happened on his left ankle. Apparently, right after the people were leaving Full Sail after watching NXT. They saw that Blake was on crutches with a boot on his foot, leaving the area there. So don't know if this is actually legit injury or this is storyline. Don't know. But if it is true, then Blake's going to be out for a while there with the foot injury. If that's true, though. But yeah, Imperium, they're impressive, man. They definitely are impressive, and yeah, it makes sense because when they look good, they make Walter look good, and Walter makes them look good. It makes sense. This match I did turn on during the AEW, and I flipped over to this match and I watched a lot of it. Austin Theory going up against I'm gonna screw this up. Jacqueline Wild or help me out here, Chris. My writing's bad.
I can't even say it because I don't even think I watched this match. So,
have you heard of Austin Theory before?
I have heard of him before. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I have too. So this was a pretty good match. It almost reminded me of a 205 live match with a lot of the high flying and through the ropes in cruiserweight style moves, which was great. But Austin Theory ended up winning, and both competitors were great in the ring, coming off the ropes, especially with the Hurricanrana in midair. I mean, just some great stuff there. But Austin Theory won the match, and he did put an impression. I heard of Austin Theory before, and when I was like, okay, yeah, I'm trying to remember where I've seen him wrestle before. I've seen some footage, but when seeing him on NXT, it just, I loved it. I definitely loved it. Another tag team classic match from the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. Another first round match. We had the Undisputed Era, Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish going up against Gallus Boys, the NXT UK Tag Team Champions of Wolfgang and Mark Coffey. You had the NXT Tag Team Champions go up against the NXT UK Tag Team Champions, man. Tell me you've seen this. Tell me you've seen this.
Yeah, I did. I saw this one. I just didn't see the Austin Theory match. I tried to watch as much as I could. But, yeah, I thought it was a really good match. I thought it was really good. Undisputed Era is one of my favorite tag teams out right now.
Yes.
All four guys are great. I don't watch a lot of Gallus, but those guys did great as well. Why they're the champions.
Yeah.
And yeah. A really good match. I enjoyed it.
Watching Wolfgang. I remember Wolfgang. I remember both these guys from the UK tournament. I watched the UK tournament, and I got familiar with a lot of the talent. And when they used to replay late at night, on the WWE Network, they used to replay the NXT UK. So I'd be going to sleep about this time or later, and I'd throw on WWE Network and I'd watch NXT UK. So was familiar with these guys, and it was great seeing them coming over here and having exposure and getting some exposure, because Wolfgang, he was with Tyler Bate as Mustache Mountain, if you remember that, or it was Mark Coffey. I can't remember off the top of my head though, but that was a great tag team. But these guys were great exposure and stuff. And of course, Adam Cole had to inject himself in to make sure his boys won, and they did. They defeated Gallus Boys for the victory to advance in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic in the first round. Then we seen, I thought was funny, I started laughing when you had Matt Riddle talking about him and Pete Dunne of the Bruiserweight teaming up, man. The name I thought was great. This is brilliant. you can put Matt Riddle with anyone, and you come up with great names. So you got the Bro and the Bruiserweight. So you got the Broserweight. Did you catch that, man? Did you catch that?
No, man. I just didn't get a lot of NXT this week. I wasn't on my toes.
Wasn't on your toes. But let me ask you, Chris. Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne together, the Bro and the Bruiserweight together as the Broserweight. Is that not? I love it. We're gonna have to put
styles between those two would be a good team.
Yeah. Because they're in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. They're gonna be wrestling next week. Both those guys are. The Broserweight. I love it, man. I love it. Take Bro and you put it, you put Matt Riddle and Keith Lee together. You have Bass and his broness. There you go. You see, you could put it in front of anyone, The Forgotten Sons, the Brogotten Sons, Bro Imperium, the undisputed bro era. It's just, you could fit it. But I like it. It's going to be interesting seeing both these guys go up in in this tournament here. I was scratching my head when you had Finn Balor and Samoa Joe, but it worked, and they ended up winning the tournament that one year. So Mia Yim went up against Kaden Carter. Not too familiar with Kaden Carter. She's a new face. But Mia ends up winning. But however, we get to see the debut of Chelsea Green with formerly known as Robbie E. of Impact Wrestling as a new faction or a new group there.
Yeah, Robbie E. has been in NXT for a while now, but just not on TV. And I've also stuff with him on Facebook of him being in NXT, and don't know a lot about Kaden Carter, but Mia Yim is really, really good for NXT. She's been in there a while. And yeah, Chelsea Green made her debut on NXT, which was good for the women's division. I mean, the match was what it was. Mia Yim's really good. I mean, we'll see what happens with Chelsea Green in the near future. That's what this match is really for. And we'll see what happens, what they do next week with her.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we'll have to see what they're going to do with these guys, next year, and what happens. The main event, you had number one contenders match for the North American Championship. You had Keith Lee versus Dominic Divacovic. I can't say his last name. I choke. Damian Priest versus Grimes. I forget his first name, but I put Grimes down. I was trying to go back, but great fatal four-way for a number one contender for the North American Championship. Great match, everything. My pick was Keith Lee to win this, but Dominic, man, I thought he was going to win this because they put him some good programming here the last couple months, with Tommaso Ciampa and Keith Lee. I was split down the middle with Keith Lee or Dominic winning this one, though. But everything has gone on with Keith Lee the impression he made at Survivor Series 2 months ago, and how people just they're behind this guy. Why not give him a shot at the title? And then he ended up winning and becoming the number one contender for the North American Championship.
Really, man, a really good match. I really enjoyed it. Keith Lee, for the past couple of months, like he said, has been showing why he is one of the dominant forces in NXT right now.
Mm-hmm.
The guy is getting over crazy. And he was my pick as well to win this match. Damian Priest looked good. Cameron Grimes. Dominic Dijakovic looked awesome. Dominic Dijakovic and Keith Lee here lately have been doing really, really good stuff. It was the standout. It was the match of the night. It was great. I really enjoyed it.
It was Keith Lee. Why not give him a shot at the championship? And I believe they're going to keep Keith Lee in NXT for a while to build that brand, to build more of the NXT brand there. I believe that's what's going to happen here. All in all, NXT was a great show, but to me, my favorite match out of the night would have to be the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic first round match with the Undisputed Era versus Gallus Boys. The six women tag team match, that was my favorite two right there. And actually my second favorite match was the number one contenders match there. And then my third favorite match was the six women tag there. But all in all, on a scale 1 to 5, I give NXT this week. I felt like it was missing that extra thing that AEW had this week. I feel that NXT just was just a solid show. That's it. They developed a little bit of the story and more promoting of the tournament that they're doing and everything. I give NXT a 3 this week.
Yeah, I'll give NXT a 4. They had really good action. From what I saw of it, it was a 4. I didn't see the entire show. But from what I saw, the crowd was hot, like they always are at Full Sail. And pretty good show. I give it a 4. NXT 4.5. NXT 4, AEW 4.5. That's my rating this week for the Wars.
Okay. Nice. Excellent. I like it. Pretty good content and programming this week from both NXT and AEW. Both really good programming. And I do want to mention that here just in a couple minutes that we are going to discuss and mention what happened in this day in wrestling, and me and Chris are going to get into talking about best tag teams, our favorite tag teams, our best or favorite wrestling tag team. I got on the thing there, best wrestling tag team. We'll throw back and forth some tag teams and talk about who we think is the best tag team in wrestling and much more here on the Slammin' Thursday edition of the Everett Lee Show. And we're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back to talk about this and much more. So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen.
You're listening to the Everett Lee Show.
support and sponsor Podcast City Network.
City Limits Tap Room, sports bar in DeLand, Florida, has brew on tap, serves food. The grilled cheese is excellent. For upcoming events, check out City Limits Tap Room on Facebook.com/City Limits Tap Room. 3 Count Design offers a wide range of graphic design products, video, photography, and other forms of media. Everything from t-shirt designs to websites. Visit Facebook.com/3 Count Design for more.
All supporters and sponsors are brought to you by Podcast City Network.
Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
For more of The Everett Lee Show on social media, follow and like The Everett Lee Show on Facebook, The Everett Lee Show, Twitter, @The Everett_Lee, Instagram, Everett Lee Show. Audio versions of this podcast and previously released podcast can be found on everettleeshow.podbean.com. Stitcher Radio, The Everett Lee Show, give a rating and comment. Apple Podcast, The Everett Lee Show, give a rating and comment. YouTube, The Everett Lee Show, subscribe to the channel. The Everett Lee Show, your shot of entertainment to the head.
Hey fans, here at Podcast City Network, we have a lot of great shows on all of our great social media outlets. PodcastCity.net.
Facebook.com/Podcast City Network. Hit that thumbs up. You can send a tweet to Podcast City Network on Twitter @Podcast City Net.
Only on Podcast City Network.
You're listening to The Everett Lee Show.
We are back, and again, you can follow more Everett Lee Show and much more shows right over on podcastcity.net, your top source for independent podcasting. Now, this day in wrestling history, I thought this was interesting. Did you think this was interesting here? I picked out a couple things, Chris. I thought it was pretty interesting on this day in wrestling history. The first thing I want to talk about is that in Boston, Massachusetts, Bret Hart defeated Ric Flair in a 3-2 in a 60-minute Iron Man match to retain the WWF Championship. And Bret won the deciding fall with the 18 seconds when he reversed a figure 4 lock into an inside cradle, and it was practically believed to be the first Iron Man match WWE history or WWF history there, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen that match before.
I don't think I have either.
No, I've never heard of it, but I mean, probably a house show match or something.
Yeah,
I'm guaranteed it'd be a good one. Back in the when was this on this day? What year?
I believe it was 90. I think it was like 92, 93, somewhere in there.
Yeah, that would have been a good one between those two.
Mm-hmm.
I would have really enjoyed to see that. That's interesting, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely like to, see that one there. I mean, I believe it was I'm trying to pull it up right here. The Iron Man match between Ric Flair and Bret Hart. That was in 93-94 right there. Yeah, Bret Hart wrestled 2 from Iron Man matches from 93-94 against Ric Flair and then his and Hart's brother Owen, so he went against, actually not Owens, that's cutting off right there, Shawn Michaels. He wrestled Shawn Michaels in an Iron Man match, which we know about, but it was in 1992. That's when it was. It was in 1992 right there that he wrestled for Ric Flair in the Iron Man match. And then, of course, one of the highest rating segments on Raw in Raw history happened to be from Hershey, Pennsylvania. Edge celebrated his first WWE Championship with live sex with Lita right in the ring. Remember that one right there?
Yeah. The live sex show and on Raw. I mean, yeah, that was a monumental moment for Edge. That whole, Edge started to become a big superstar.
Yeah.
When he won Money in the Bank, and then he cashed in on John Cena. Mm-hmm. And he did all of this, stuff in between. And from that point on, it skyrocketed his career as one of the best champions WWE's ever had. He's one of my favorite wrestlers ever.
Yeah.
Edge, and hopefully see him return and have one more ride off into the sunset.
Exactly.
Edge right here was great. I mean, he did a lot of stuff great. The Lita, Matt Hardy, and Edge saga was great. That's what started Edge and Lita being together, and it was a real-life situation. I mean, when you take real life and you put it on screen, it turns to gold, and it did for these two, Matt Hardy and Edge, with the Lita stuff.
Yeah.
Edge and John Cena as well had great matches after that. Edge and John Cena. Those two guys have great chemistry together.
Yeah.
Yeah, this segment, Edge and Lita, it was great. And then it got interrupted by Ric Flair. Yeah, man. And what better person to interrupt it, right? And yeah, it was good. That's when Raw was fun.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed.
Yeah, it was great because Edge cashed in on John Cena the following night at New Year's Revolution, and he basically cashed in, defeated John Cena, and won the title under 2 minutes there. And he celebrated the following night on Monday Night Raw on one of the highest rated segments. I think that segment got out of 5.4. So it was a crazy great segment there. It definitely was, and it did build Edge up to be the rated R superstar, how he got the nickname there. But I thought those were a couple of good things to throw out there and discuss for this day in wrestling history on this day here on January 9th. And it was pretty good. It was pretty good segments and good two things that happened on this day in wrestling. Speaking of Edge, he was part of a tag team with Christian, was he not?
Yeah, that's one of my favorite tag teams of all time, the ENC connection, Edge and Christian. I really enjoyed this tag team. They put on some really good matches with the Hardy Boys, the Dudley Boys. That put those guys on the map in WWE with the TLC matches.
Yeah.
I can name three right there, three good tag teams. I was a big fan of Jericho. I know this is way off from those guys, Jericho and Big Show. Jericho. I thought that was a great tag team.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the Rockers, Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty. Another great tag team that I really looked up to when I was younger. Those are some teams I really liked. I could name a lot more, but those guys right there is who I really got into the most in tag teams. Because I'm always a singles guy. I've always liked the singles wrestling. But as far as watching, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of good. The Outsiders, Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, changed the face of WCW with their team.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good tag team. There's been a lot of good tag teams, man, in the history. There's a few I just named that I really liked. I really like those guys. And the reason I like Jericho is because it was kind of an accident because the Edge getting hurt, and they put Big Show in there with Jericho, and it meshed well. And they went against really good teams like DX, and now they had some good matches with those guys. And they went against Rey Mysterio and Batista. I remember that. Jericho had a lot of good talent to work with, and I thought that them as a tag team was great.
Yeah, they were.
Man, there's been a lot of good ones. The Hardy Boys still together to this day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I tag teams and wrestling right now in 2020 is really good. And they're taking it to the next level now. It's a whole lot different. But, yeah, man. Yeah. What's some of your favorite tag teams?
I would have to say some of the ones that you did mention. Edge and Christian, that was one of my favorite ones. The TLC matches with the Dudley Boys, another one of my favorites there. And the Hardy Boys, them doing the TLC matches at WrestleMania and No Mercy. That was fantastic. That was phenomenal. What all three of those teams did, I thought was great. The Hardy Boys, that was one of my favorite tag teams right there. Edge and Christian, and of course Dudley's, three of my favorite tag teams. Rocker, Shawn Michaels, and Marty Jannetty. Excuse me. They were my favorite tag team there too. They were great, a great tag team. And the Hart Foundation. That was one of my other favorite tag teams right there. Bret Hart and Jim the Anvil Neidhart, another great tag team there during the 80s. And then you had, of course, like you said, Nash and Hall, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, the Outsiders, another great tag team right there. One of my other favorite tag teams. Also, I'm trying to think off the top of my head, another great tag team that I liked that. Actually, this is kind of weird though. Booker T and Goldust. that was an odd tag team.
Yeah, they did great together.
Yeah, they did
great together.
I liked it. And then, of course, you got the Rock and Sock connection, the Rock and Mankind. That was another great mashup right there. But
yeah, I really liked Jericho and Chris Benoit as well.
That's another great tag team.
I would talk about, but if you go back and watch those two guys when they was the tag team champions, they put on some hellacious matches.
They did.
Two Cannon Boys going in there and tearing it up. Man, I really enjoyed those two as a tag team.
Yeah, and then if you look at ECW, Lance Storm and Just Incredible, the Innovators of Offense, or I'm probably screwing that up right there. Lance Storm and Just Incredible, when they were a tag team. They were a great tag team, both those guys. And then you had Shawn Michaels and Triple H when they were doing stuff together for DX, when they brought DX back. Both those guys did, and they were in tag matches. One tag team that comes to mind.
I just wanted to add, in my opinion, I thought Shawn Michaels and Triple H worked better on the opposite side. I thought their stuff when in 2002 and on was the best stuff they ever did together when Shawn Michaels and Triple H feuded. I really enjoyed that.
Mm-hmm.
That was very interesting. I love them having one-on-one matches rather than teaming. The DX in '97 and when they first started was really great. It was different. yeah, I liked Triple H and Shawn Michaels at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And they did some pretty good stuff in 2009, 2010. That's a good team as well. DX.
Yeah. Yeah, that definitely was a great tag team there. Undertaker and Kane, the Brothers of Destruction. When they put those two together right there, watch out. Watch out.
That was they didn't do it a whole lot because it's an attraction tag team.
Yeah.
And I liked it. And I really enjoyed that mix. Kane and X-Pac as well was a good tag team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was a great
Kane,
mix.
Kane's been a part of some tag teams. Him and Rob Van Dam. Kane and RVD was good.
Yep.
Just one of those guys that can do anything. And he's used all the time to this day because he can do anything you tell him to do.
Yep.
And that's why he has a wrestling school with Tom Pritchard in Knoxville, Tennessee. Kane knows his stuff. Kane can be anything. He can be in any situation and be the best at it.
Exactly. He even teamed with the Big Show. They were a tag team at one point, Kane and the Big Show.
Tag team champions, yeah.
Yeah, Kane and Big Show, believe it or not, were a tag team. And, of course, you had Team Hell No, too, with Dan O'Brien and Kane. Team Hell No.
That's one of the best of the modern era is those two, because they put on some good stuff on Raw.
They did.
And, I really liked that team.
Mm-hmm. They did. They put some really great stuff on.
All those segments was great. It was fun.
Mm-hmm. It was some really good stuff there with those tag teams there with Kane and Dan O'Brien, Team Hell No. Another tag team that I would have to say was good too was the Enforcers, Arn Anderson, AA Arn Anderson, and Larry Zbyszko.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Arn Anderson was a part of some good tag teams with the Brainbusters, him and Tully.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed it. Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard versus the Rockers was some good matches the Rockers had. Put them on the map working with those two guys.
Yeah.
Those two, both good chemistry together.
Mm-hmm.
The Hart Foundation. I mean, man, Bret Hart, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, great tag team.
Great tag team. And, of course, you can't forget about the Road Warriors. You can't forget about them, man.
Yes.
Yeah, Animal and Hawk.
Really, the Crockett days.
Mm-hmm.
Really great tag team.
Yeah, you can't forget about those two right there. And then, of course, you had also too, you had Demolition.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Demolition's a really good. Very different for WWE. They stood out. Had some really good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Really good stuff.
They did. And then you had the pairing of. You also had a couple of teams at the Mouth of the South. Jimmy Hart managed. You had the Natural Disasters. You had Earthquake and Typhoon, and then you had another team, Money Inc. You had IRS and Ted DiBiase. What a combination right there too.
Mhm. Oh yeah.
And then, do you remember?
Yeah.
Do you remember when
what?
Macho Man Randy Savage teamed up with the Ultimate Warrior, Ultimate Savage?
Oh yeah, Macho Man has been in some tag teams as well. Him and Hulk Hogan, the Mega Powers.
Yep.
Yeah, they tried everything with Ultimate Warrior, trying to do everything with him and Macho at that time. Yeah, man, that was fun. Man, that was fun stuff. I mean, both guys have outlandish characters. They're so out there. They're crazy, big, muscular guys, and it made sense.
Mm-hmm. It did. And you can't forget about one team. It just popped in my head right here. Harlem Heat, Stevie Ray and Booker T.
Yeah, and they are rumored to have a match, one more match against the Revival at WrestleMania.
Really?
And yes, that is a rumor. And I believe it will happen. I believe. And they teased it on a pre-show at a pay-per-view. I believe it was the last one they had, TLC. Yeah, they really teased that match. Scott Dawson came on the pre-show and trash-talked Booker T and said that the Revival is the best tag team of all time, even better than you and Stevie Ray, the Harlem Heat, and they kind of teased that. And then the rumor sites blew up about these two teams, and I think it's going to happen. I think Stevie Ray and Booker T are going to have one last match against the Revival.
That'd be something. That would
be something.
Yeah, that
going back. Yeah, I hope that happens. I hope that happens for both teams. It'd be really good for WrestleMania. It'd be great. And, back to you saying the Harlem Heat.
Yeah.
One of my favorite tag teams when I was a kid on Nitro. I thought they stood out, man. They stood out very well. They put on some good matches.
They did.
Booker T, when WCW closed down, Booker T did well for himself as well as the singles in WWE.
Mm-hmm.
He's a Hall of Famer. And,
he did.
Last year at WrestleMania, he got inducted. They both got inducted as the Harlem Heat, and I'm very happy for them. They are, and they're well deserved. A great team.
They are. I was happy that Harlem Heat got inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. I was happy about that. But all these tag teams that we mentioned, when it comes down to it, if you'd have to pick one team for yourself to be the best tag team, who would that be?
In my personal opinion, the best tag team of all time is Edge and Christian. They held the championships more than anybody. And I think they're the best. That's the team I can get the most into watching is Edge and Christian, and they're my favorite tag team.
I would have to say the Hardy Boys are my favorite. I like Jeff and Matt. I liked how they work together, and I would have to go with them being, to me, the best tag team wrestling for me. Great tag teams, great discussion on that. I figured we'd throw that out there this week because when I was watching the Cody Rhodes and Dustin Rhodes tag match against the Lucha Bros, you had brothers, going against you know what I mean. But you had two brothers. So I figured, you know what? Let's talk about some wrestling tag teams this week. Let's throw that in there before we close, one of the closing segments of the Slammin' Thursday edition this week. Let's throw some names out there of best wrestling tag teams that we think. And we share a common interest in a lot of the teams that we think is the best tag team, and we named some of the best, or quite a bit of the best tag teams, wrestling tag teams in wrestling, and I love it. I definitely love it. And it looks like we've reached the end, Chris, of this week's show. Looks like we've reached the end of this week's show. Before we close out, before I do the closing, is there anything you want to add that's going to be happening with the Chris Rose to let people know what's going on with you?
The Chris Rose will be in action Saturday night. Shopville, Kentucky, KZW returns for 2020. The Chris Rose returns for 2020. And everybody come on down to see what happens between me and Chris Sterling. It all happens at Shopville Gymnasium, Shopville, Kentucky, bell time 7:30. And Sunday, I will be at WCCW in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky, making my very first appearance of the year there. Last week, I did not attend. It's been a long, crazy week, and I apologize to everybody at WCCW. It's my first show that I missed, that I said I was going to be at, and I apologize that I will be there Sunday. The Chris Rose is going to have one hell of a 2020, and I'm ready for what comes my way. And I'm ready to see what happens with our show. Really good show tonight. And last week, we're getting started off really hot, and I'm really happy to see the future of this show, future of my wrestling career. It's going to be a good one.
Hell yeah. Nothing I can complain there about that, man. 2020 is going to be a great year for you, Chris, and it's going to be a great year for the Slammin' Thursday edition of the Everett Lee Show. It's going to be great for 2020. And you can catch more of the Slammin' Thursday edition of the Everett Lee Show with Everett Lee and the Chris Rose over on podcastcity.net. You can check out this episode and previous release episodes right over there on the website. Give Podcast City Network on Facebook a thumbs up. Send them a tweet over on Twitter at PodcastCityNet. And subscribe to their YouTube channel for video portions of this podcast, another podcast over on Podcast City Network YouTube channel. And follow them on their Twitch channel, Podcast City Network. Everett Lee, you can catch more of the Everett Lee Show over on Facebook. Give a thumbs up on the page there and a follow. Send me a tweet over on Twitter at the Everett _Lee. And follow me on Instagram, Everett Lee Show. For audio portions of this podcast and previous release podcasts, head over to Everett Lee Show over on YouTube, Stitcher Radio, iTunes. Download those apps and the Podbeam app and give a rating and a comment on those right there. And that is pretty much it for this week here for Slammin' Thursday. I do want to mention that you can check out more interviews coming of the Everett Lee Show next Tuesday on January 14th with my guest, indie filmmaker, director, producer Jeremiah Kemp will be on the podcast to talk about films and movies and much, much more on that podcast this coming Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, live right here on this Facebook page, Everett Lee Show on Facebook and on twitch.tv/the Everett Lee. And that is it. Everyone have a good night and a good week. We'll see you again next week for another exciting episode of the Everett Lee Show Slammin' Thursday edition. We'll see what goes on next week. Peace.